An estimated 303,000 women died in 2015 during childbirth or from pregnancy-related complications, most of these due to a lack of access to basic health services. While progress has been made in a number of gender dimensions of the MDGs, such as in education, where the gender gap in youth literacy has narrowed substantially, and in maternal mortality, which has declined by nearly 44% since 1990, much more needs to be done. Women and girls need to be at the center of any development imperative, end of quote. As women, and as Guyanese women particularly, we know the struggles that confront us every day. And if some of us don't really have to struggle, she that has eyes to see and ears to hear will know that some parents, particularly single mothers, struggle to put food on the table for their children, struggle to put clothes on their backs, struggle to send them to school, struggle to keep a roof over their heads, struggle to pay the electricity and water bills. In addition to these, some women face some form of violence on a daily basis, be it verbal, psychological, or physical. And this physical and psychological abuse, as you saw in the drama we just saw, sometimes lead to their death, either at the hands of the ones who are beating them, or by their own hand through despair and suicide. Women of faith know that their faith gives them strength. And that strength gives them the will, the power, and the courage to overcome the obstacles that they face. And I want to give you a few examples from the Holy Bible. We know of Esther, a queen and a woman of beauty, who was also brave enough and intelligent. She used her brains to survive in the rough and corrupt court of her foolish husband and was able to save her people. There's Deborah, a prophetess and a judge, who took command and convinced the Israelites to fight the better equipped and trained Canaanite army led by General Sisera. The Israelite General Barak was afraid, and he told Deborah that if she went into battle, he would go. And so she did. And you know the story. A storm made the battlefield muddy so that Sisera's chariots were bogged down and the Israelites were able to win the battle. It was Deborah's faith in God, while facing seemingly impossible odds, that helped her save the day. And then we continue Deborah's story with the tale of Jael, a small, unarmed woman. After General Sisera was defeated and fled the battlefield, he was exhausted and took shelter in Jael's tent. Jael lulled him into a false sense of security. She let him fall asleep. And then she drove a tent peg into his head. The Israelites were amazed when they heard what had happened. Not only was the great general dead, but worse, he had been killed by a lone woman, which was the most undignified death for a soldier, much less a general. And we go on to Judith. And I have to say I love this name. I have a granddaughter named after her. Judith was a theologian. She committed murder to save her people. She was a widow. Her town was besieged and about to surrender. The men were afraid of their powerful enemy. But Judith went to the enemy camp seduced Holofernes, the leader, then hacked off his head as he lay in a drunken stupor. She went where the men of her tongue were afraid to go and saved them by killing the enemy's leader.